Hello and welcome. Just thrilled to be able to present to you all the 2015 Aston Martin Vanquish. This is such a special car for so many reasons, which I will tell you about in just a moment. But we've happily taken this on behalf of the owner for our listing service, and it's currently live on Bring a Trailer. Just absolutely a fantastic car. I had the pleasure of driving it to the Hamptons of Long Island, which was a not a super long road trip, but I definitely had plenty of time to get to know it, both in, mild traffic conditions, heavy traffic conditions, quiet, night back roads driving, all of that stuff. Got to use the radar equipment, which is installed. Really, really fantastic radar system. And then obviously the details on the car itself. This is, of course, a 2015 Aston Martin Vanquish. And the first thing that I would note that's super significant about the 15s and 16s, and I think they continued to 17, was that the prior models, I guess if we're talking Porsche terminology, the .1 examples of the second gen Aston, the first half of the examples up to 2014 got, I'm not sure who made the transmissions, but a much less reliable 6-speed, I think single clutch or sequential transmission, which was known to be pretty unreliable, pretty clunky, pretty difficult to manage in traffic or anything other than like sporty driving as intended or grand touring. This example from 15 onwards gets the ZF, which is world renowned for putting transmissions in basically every modern manufacturer's car. This gets the ZF 8-speed transmission, which is a huge plus in the field of drivability, reliability, and desirabilities, to name all the abilities. So yeah, just a fantastic car. And again, in traffic, heading out to Long Island, it behaved super well, which honestly I was a little nervous about. But that 8-speed was really good. On top of that, specifically 2015, 16 Vanquish features are this car has a full carbon fiber body. Now, some of it is exposed, the pieces on the mirrors, this front lip here, and the side skirts, but the entire car is carbon fiber. It is covered in this absolutely beautiful, I mean, just stunning, divine red paint. It's got a gorgeous flake in it, and overall, the condition of the exterior is just immaculate. It's really, really impressive. This car has been driven a decent amount, 11,000 miles, but it is still very, very fresh. It seems to have stayed in Long Island for almost all of its life. And yeah, just a fantastic car. To go over a few of the options quickly, it's obviously divine red. This was a carbon car. I don't believe that was an additional option, that they were standard on the 15s and 16s from factory in full carbon. You get the 177 steering wheel, which, if you know your Aston Martins, comes out of the famous $1 million Aston Martin 177. That is a $1,600-ish option, in addition to the near $7,000 rear seat, which is called the 2+2, waving to our neighbor Bob over there. So the 2+2 seating in the rear adds another $7,000 on the build sheet. All in, this car, the MSRP, we did receive a build sheet from Aston Martin of Chicago, I believe, from a good friend who works there. $320,000 new for this car. The Vanquish was the flagship. It was the most expensive car. I believe the DB9 in 2015 started at, I believe, $188,000. So near double for the flagship Vanquish. Of course, you could have gotten an S. You could have gotten a Rapide for slightly less, like in the mid 200s, but this is the one. This is absolutely the one, and this spec is just fantastic, fantastic. So just a couple more things I love about it, because I could go on all day. As many of you know, the Vanquish is so popular because it was the original, original is the wrong word, but obviously Aston Martin has its roots in partnership with the James Bond series, from Pierce Brosnan to Daniel Craig. They've all driven Aston Martins. I believe even Sean Connery drove an Aston Martin. various models from the DB5 all the way up to, of course, the Vanquish. In Die Another Day, there was a first-generation Vanquish that was driven through the snow and ice, and I believe another Vanquish or DBS made an appearance in Casino Royale for the poisoning scene. This second-generation Vanquish is a direct descendant of both that DBS in Casino Royale and the Vanquish in Die Another Day, and I just think that adds to the cool factor so much. I mean, every time you're even near the car, I start feeling like whipping out a British accent and becoming a spy. So let's get into the exterior features, quick walk around. Obviously, this car is near flawless. I hate using that word, but it's really lacking imperfections. So starting up here, headlights are nice and clear, just a little bit of bug debris here. We did just shoot part of the driving video. It's got a full front PPF. The whole front of the car from the doors up has PPF. Carbon trim in great shape. Grille and parking sensors in great shape. Not seeing any problems there. Lower lip looks great. Same with the center carbon piece, the lower grille, the center bumper. You do have your radar intakes here, or radar systems, the frontal system there. Grille is in great shape. The nose of the hood, which is a very delicate area notoriously, is also in great shape. Aston Martin badge as well. Looking up further down the super elongated hood, amazing shape. Again, it's got the PPF ventilation gills up top. I just can't say enough positive things about the styling of this car. It's really just fantastic. Driver's side looks very good. Two little nicks in the PPF here, looks like rock chips, but you can bet yourself that they have protected the paint as intended. One more little nick here in the PPF, hasn't compromised paint, which is always nice to see. Valeo headlights with washers, I believe these are. Driver's side of the car, so nice. Again, PPF continues. Hood looks great. Coming down below, wheels and tires. Someone asked for date codes, and I will post those, but they are 2022, so late 22 tires. Carbon ceramic brakes, of course. How could we not talk about those? And I forgot to mention that in my options list. But the pads have about 1/3 of an inch of meat left on them, and there's not a single lip or really any signs of wear in the rotors. Obviously, these are very expensive to replace. Wheels have no curbing on them and are in really nice shape. So coming back a little bit, I just want to start up top. Windshield in really nice shape. No rock chips, nothing of the sort. A-pillars look great. And there's no PPF on the upper part of the A-pillar, but on the lower part there is in fact. Coming down below, obviously your carbon fiber mirrors here, just beautiful automotive design. It's really incredible. They also have PPF on them. Gills down below, amazing detail with your integrated lights. And then of course, the piece de resistance, the carbon trim down below, which is also in nice shape. Again, the PPF continues here. You can actually see the cut lines. And then we get to the door, which is not PPF'd, but is, of course, in amazing shape. I don't see a single flaw on it. Little bit of abrasion, like tiny. I mean, I'm really grasping at straws here, but little abrasion there. And even down below, it's really in nice shape. Glass and trim, perfect. Mirrors look great. Integrated door handles. And if you look at the right angle, you can see the crosshatch of the carbon fiber underneath the paint. It's really incredible. Back up top, the roof in perfect shape. Not seeing any imperfections here. Really, really nice. So now aft of the driver's side door, it's like, don't put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari, but of course we had to for our time in the Hamptons. Where would people find us? Rear quarter window trim's in great shape. Down below, so even though the PPF doesn't extend aft of the front seam of the door, you do get some PPF down here, which since this car has a staggered stance, you would have seen some paint degradation here for sure. So nice to see that that area has been protected, but it's in great shape, along with the upper section of the rear driver's side quarter panel. Really, really nice. So now looking at the rear tires, let's go for date codes. First things first, 1522. So both driver's side tires are 2022s. Dual caliper setup in the rears, again with about 1/3 of an inch of meat on both pads on the rear driver's side brake. Rotors look great, and the wheel sees no curbing, anything of the sort. Really, really nice. So the fuel cap in nice shape. Rear glass looks great. Integrated brake light here. And of course, the gorgeous rear driver quarter on this car, which also is showing no flaws. Take my sunglasses off just to be sure. Rear driver tail light looks amazing. The carbon trim on the rear end of this car is just incredible. Dual exit exhaust, of course, with ventilation, gills everywhere, and kind of like almost a double diffuser setup because you have this carbon trim encased essentially between two pieces of painted carbon. Of course, the whole car is carbon, so there's no non-carbon body panels, if I'm not mistaken. You have this wing that integrates into both rear quarters and then the trunk panel as well, which I will add is in great shape. No imperfections on the wing, on the upper part, even on the pass-through where rocks and debris can start to be sucked in. I actually do see a little bit of rock chipping on the very inner corner there. It's so hard to see, but you know, obviously it's a very aerodynamic car. They'll get sucked in through there. We saw the similar thing on a few cars with a similar setup. I love the ornate little trunk button here, but we'll go over that in a moment. Lower diffuser, there are a couple rocks, tiny little pebbles stuck in there, but otherwise really, really nice. Badging is all correct. So now for the rear passenger quarter, same condition as the driver. It is just amazing. Tail light, upper section, rear glass. I mean, really just, you know, I could say take our word for the fact that the exterior is pretty much perfect. But of course, we just love to demonstrate and be as transparent as possible. See for yourselves. It's really, I mean, it almost feels silly to do the walk around. Roof in perfect shape. And again, you can sort of see that cross-hatching in the carbon details. Down low, just finishing up the rear passenger quarter, looks great. The lights look great. The Continental tires, 1522, so matching date codes on the rears. All tires so far from 2022. It's very hot out, and pants were a bad choice today. Little tiny rash here. So small. And otherwise really nice. So coming forward, rear passenger quarter window looks great. Rear passenger front section of the quarter panel also looks great. Again, no paint degradation, and this PPF down where it staggers out a little bit is a very smart choice. Not seeing any damage there. Carbon trim looks great. Door looks great. Glass looks great. All the chrome trim and rubber shroud around it in really nice shape. The mirror in very nice shape. The door, not seeing any flaws. And there's a lot of angularity on this car. I mean, the detail is just incredible with between this sort of hump and down here it angles out. Again, sort of a tiny, tiny bit of like hash marking here from, I'm sure, people's feet going in and out over the years. Carbon trim looks incredible. There is a little, it's almost, oh, okay, just tar from the road. And yeah, just really good. So the mirror caps look great. Front windows look great. Passenger side of the windshield looks great. Not seeing any flaws. The gills, and again, you do get the PPF starting from here down. Gills look really, really nice. You can see the cut in the PPF here where it was molded to this area. Two-piece section. Front passenger wheel and tire look really good. These are 4122s. So the fronts are 4122s and the rears are 1522s. So tires are about 3 years old, maybe 2 and change. Again, these look really good. Same amount of pad life, like 1/3 of an inch, and the rotors look really nice. Again, these are quite pricey to replace. So now just the passenger side of the top of the hood and the front of the car looks really good. Passenger front quarter, again, really nice. And you can hardly even see where the PPF is cut. This was obviously done really well, but you can see the line here. So yeah, nice full front PPF, integrated radar, amazing color, and a perfect exterior condition. I mean, hardly, like, other than tiny stuff, like, really, it is in such nice shape. So now we'll head around to the interior and then go for a drive. Alrighty, interior of the Aston Martin Vanquish. So obviously we've got recessed door handles, kind of like a Tesla. I hate to cheapen it like that, but I actually really like the design of these. And of course, you get the typical Aston Martin Grand Tourer feature, which is doors that come up on like a diagonal angle. Yeah, it's best seen from there. And they'll stay where they are. Like if you put it here, it'll stay. If you put it there, it'll stay. If you put it there, it'll go. But yeah, really, really nice. Really, really, really cool. Obviously, they're going to remind you that it's a Vanquish and that it's hand-built in England on both sides. And then, yeah, as I was saying, you get Bang & Olufsen sound. Both tweeters pop out here. They do crackle a little bit, unfortunately. That is like the only flaw I'd note that I've noticed. There might be another one that comes to mind as we get into driving. Of course, the 177 steering wheel, the two-tone maroon and saddle leather interior with the fancy stitching here, aluminum trim, really, really just gorgeous. And then a little bit of piano black trim thrown in there. Obviously, you get the 2+2 seating, which is back there. Not like any normal human will be able to fit back there, but it's nice, looks cool. And yeah, really just really, really cool. Love this car. The interior is so well designed. They even put leather just on a little piece of the paddle shifters here. And okay, now looking at this, it's just an ever so slight amount of wear on the turnstock there. So heading around, quick, just look at the headliner. The headliner is amazing. So heading around to the rear, which has got some cool stuff in it. One of my favorite features is just this tiny little button that pops it up. Really light. And this is the first you'll see the exposed carbon on the interior of the panels to remind you that this is a full carbon-bodied car. And it's an extruded or bonded aluminum chassis. So you get your Aston Martin car cover, a tire pump, umbrella, owner's guide, just here, in addition to the Escort passport radar system. Owner's guide here. Your first aid kit there. I believe this is a tow hook there. And then, of course, some sales literature from Aston Martin, Long Island. Very cool. Very, very cool. With some experiences in there. This has the Aston Martin part number on it. And then, of course, like a true gentleman, you don't touch the car to open or close the trunk, just like I did to open it. You use your little metal leather pull tab here. Very defined. Very distinguished. So again, these flush door handles. Ooh, that is getting hot. It's a scorcher today. We'll get her back inside quickly. But same story. Door cards, kick plates, again, reminding you that this is an Aston Martin Vanquish, hand-built in England. Floor mats, center console, dashboard, headliner, all in really nice shape. You do get cup holders forward and aft of your kind of glove armrest thing there. And then, of course, the rear passenger seat, which is hardly existent. but again, a quite pricey option at about $7,000. Aston Martin does love their buttons for everything. These, as well as the trunk, and of course, your gear selector. You don't have a shift. It's button operated. So now, for the most important part, in my opinion, the 6-liter, well, I'm sorry, really a 5.9, if we're being specific, 5.9 liter naturally aspirated V12. Just a monstrous engine from a heritage manufacturer like Aston Martin. It doesn't get much better. We recently did a Bentley Continental GTC Mulliner, which had a W12. This is just everything. It's really nice. Really, really, really nice. Hand built in England, and the final inspection by Dan Rhodes. Very clean engine bay. This sometimes flaps out like so, but otherwise, nice shape, a little bit of heat insulation there. And again, you can see all the carbon fiber. Really, really cool. Such a special engine. So we'll do a quick cold start, which will be done using, and it's kept in this safe keeping little plastic bag here, the Aston Martin Emotion Control Unit, also known as a key to us normal folks. This is a sapphire crystal key, and the way that you start the car is you actually insert it into the center console. So I'll hop in here. I will also relinquish my microphone. And so yeah, basically goes in here. I'll wait to push it until my cameraman is behind me so we can get the noise of the start. But you get the point. Here we go. So it gives us a light indicating regular service due. That's an interval timing system. It's not indicating like a check engine light or anything like that. It's just indicating that it's at the interval for regular service. And then of course our driver door and hood are open. The car is in adaptive damping suspension sport mode. It is showing, well, once we start driving, we'll show our mileage until we close the doors and whatnot. AC is already blowing cold though. And yeah, gotta listen to the engine bay as well. Just incredible. I love the way this car sounds. It really is special. So now we'll head out for a drive and just do a quick little road test. So just quickly, if that's visible, time for regular service, adaptive damping sport mode, time for regular service. Just reminding us again that it is time for regular service. But again, no issues with drivability. We've got our damping here and our sport mode here. And again, once you are underway, it will get rid of the warning light for regular service. There's probably like a selector button of sorts, but I'm not actually sure how to operate. There we go. So now it's just showing us our range, that we're in sport mode, that it's 89 degrees out, and that it's 4:48 p.m. in addition to the left side little digital cluster, which is showing us 0 miles an hour, and that we're in park with the park insignia up top. I'm sorry about the glare here. I know that's probably frustrating. So we've got our dual microphone setup. If it's a little loud, please excuse us. We've got one over the exhaust and one here. But yeah, everything functioning as it should. We're a little low on fuel. The temp gauge is coming up, 66 mile fuel range. AC is pumping hard. I'll put it on full blast here. Yeah, it's working well. I'll go to cooled seats now. Of course, we shot a little bit of the driving video. I do believe we tried them. Also, secondary key, the valet key here. Seat functions working as they should. Parking sensors here, which you can activate and disactivate. Hazards, TC, and launch control, which I'm honestly not going to use. Little secret compartment here, and then all of your radar stuff. It'll talk to us in just a moment.
Powering down.
So powering down, and then I'll turn it back on, and it'll talk to us. Turn the AC a little. Once it acquires signal, there we go. Very good. Couple beeps. Very subtle. So yes, as I said, a lot of buttons in the Aston. For reverse, we'll go there. Gives us the backup camera, and we begin reversing. For neutral, we're here, and then for drive, we're here. So let's go ahead. I'm actually going to take it out of sport mode for starters, and out of active dampening sport. It's just going to give us the normal ride. Turn the AC down a little. It's not too loud in here. We'll let this parking sensors going there, so I'll turn those off. Very delicate. They'll even let you know if like the front lip is getting close. And yeah, just easy, smooth takeoff. And this car is really a shapeshifter because it's great as like a quiet, comfortable cruiser, of course, a Grand Tourer, and then you put it into sport, start playing around with the paddles, and you really start to get something quite insane, as you'll see. But yeah, for starters, it's really, really, really friendly, quite quiet. The ride is nice. The cooled seats are a great touch, and yeah, it's pretty supple. Decent amount of road noise. Again, it's carbon bodied, but yeah, not anything like unmanageable. It's, you know, I even just gave it some pedal there, and a downshift brings it to like 1800 RPM. Right now, we're just cruising at 1000 RPM at about 50 miles an hour here. So at first, it's, you know, if you want it to be super docile, it totally is. It totally is. It's quite good at being a docile car if you want it to be. And then, of course, that sport button and use of the paddle shifters just wakes it right up. So we'll get going on a bit of an exciting road here. And I'll give it some throttle just in. Again, non-sport brakes feel great. Look at the stopping power is immense. So here's some throttle. So this car does have an exhaust system. I believe it's valve. But yeah, it's a decent amount of body roll in comfort mode. I will say very comfortable, but definitely a fair share of body roll. It still feels planted as can be. And this is, you know, nearing 80 miles an hour, just rolling very well. Very, very well. And then, of course, yeah, like I'll give it pedal again. I'll slow down and give it some pedal. So it'll downshift, you know, but it really likes to stay between 1 and 2,000 RPM. So here's some pedal in non-sport. So there's 5,000 RPM. Now you'll notice immediately, once it's in sport, once I turn these shocks on, give you a little message there. Once we get, it'll downshift a lot quicker. Once we get over 3,000, that's very aggressive. And here we go with the paddle shifters. Lightning fast. Super fast car. Ride stiffens right up. And and you do start to feel how light this thing is. I mean, it certainly feels like a big car, but cornering grip is really good. And then when you'd like to take it out of paddle shift, and I like to do this with my foot off the gas and off the brake, but this D shifts you back down. And sport mode will keep you in the 2,000 RPM range. It sounds incredible. I love the way this car sounds. It is just something so special. So special. And yeah, it's still comfortable with the magnetic suspension in sport, no doubt about it. But definitely a lot stiffer. I can't imagine that getting old ever at all, or the downshifts. It does give a nice little crackle. So behind the wheel now of the 2015 Aston Martin Vanquish, I had put the panels on. We just finished shooting the social media portion of this car, but it is just fantastic. I have yet to find anything that doesn't work. We've got the AC on. It is 86 degrees out right now. AC works really well. I'll do a full fan speed here for you guys. Yeah, just really good. Really nice AC. What else have we got? Tons and tons of features. We've got it in sport mode. We've got it in soft dampening mode, but I'll put it in hard dampening, adaptive damping sport mode. All the gauges work. Temperatures are staying right at the midsection. Fuel gauge is working with the range calculator. And yeah, between the 177 steering wheel and that ZF 8-speed transmission, not the clunky 6-speed found on the earlier year examples, this car is really just so lightning fast shifts, upshifts and downshifts are super quick. As you'll notice. Naturally aspirated power is just to die for. And then when you want to just put it back, into a normal drive setting, put it out of sport and dampers in normal mode, it's really pretty chill. We've got, I'm going to put the AC back up because it is really hot out. Windows, hit the switch, one push windows. Going down. Are they one click going up? They are not one click going up, they're one click going down. Trunk buttons, all the volume settings, we turn the radio on, audio off. Can do reverse camera, navigation, audio, now playing. And the Olufsen speakers pop right up. It's not seeming to want to play. There we go. So now I just gotta find it. Radio. There we go.
Specifically for the 5th annual Saratoga Silverball Pinball Show. Several visitors were on hand during Arcade Archaeology's soft opening. The museum should be open fully in the coming months with Dance Dance Revolution.
Then we can go to our menu button here. So we've got audio, navigation, reverse camera, system settings, all that stuff. A lot of adjustability here. This launch control, traction control off. Just do my seat settings, forward, backwards, bottom here, coming up, tilt, functional. There is, I don't think I fully understand the lumbar. Oh, there it goes. There's lumbar. And lights, of course, are down here. Yeah, overall, you know, it's not like a super feature heavy car. It's just a really, really nice Grand Tourer. It's not like a German, you know, BMW 7 Series or Mercedes-Benz S-Class where they're like just loading you up with features. It's just a really a focus on the powertrain, a focus on the chassis, a focus on comfort. I don't want to say simplicity, but it is reasonably simple. And yeah, just that powertrain is to die for. I will say the rear seats don't really offer much room as far as, you know, being able to seat a full-size human. But I'm taking my tennis rackets home right now, so excuse the tennis rackets. And yeah, really just, I mean, such a fantastic car. I often find myself using the paddle shifters just because being able to manipulate that powertrain yourself is such a pleasure. It's so nice, and they're lightning fast. The car does have a special exhaust, which makes it noticeably louder in sport mode. I would also say, what else does this car have that's really notable? Divine red, obviously. It's, as you know, a full carbon fiber bodied car as well. It's got the carbon ceramic brakes. It's got the optional 177 steering wheel. It's got, I think, additional carbon trim, like unpainted carbon trim was an option. Obviously B&O sound. It's got the 2+2, which the 2+2 rear seating, which is also an additional option. Heated and cooled seats. Let's not forget to use those. Forgot about those. So overall, tons of really, really nice options. The crystal key is super cool, and it also comes with the plastic valet key additionally. And yeah, just so much to love with this car. It's really fantastic. Turn signals work, and you know the stalks are nice and tight. Do our wipers here, also working. We can do some spray as well, also working. So yeah, just I have yet to encounter something that's not functional. Oh, come to think of it, there is a little bit of crackling that I would note in the tweeters, the B&O tweeters. On the high end, we did turn the treble down last time. The only time I used the Bluetooth audio, like on a high treble song, it will have a slight crackle. I did do some research and noticed that it could be due to bad speaker wiring. Feeling the cooled seats kick in really nicely. That is quite nice. Passenger confirming that they are functioning. We'll brutalize ourselves with some heated seats now. The things we do for you, the viewers. Heated seats on an 86-degree day. But yep, and I'll adjust my mirrors. Functional on the left, functional on the right. Very good. And yeah, door locks here, functioning as they should. And overall, the condition of the interiors looks very, very nice. 11,000 mile car, so not much to be expected in terms of interior wear. It does also have integrated radar, which is operated here. We know that our radar is on because we've got our green little button, green little light illuminated there, and sort of a hidden operation system here, radar control unit. open this. So there's the radar talking to us. Cigarette lighter and USB port there. Cup holder here. And yeah, really just a fantastic car. So fantastic. I'm so honored to be able to have the chance to bring this all, bring this to you all, and get the chance to get to know it and enjoy it. And it is something that I'll certainly remember for the rest of my life. I mean, I've been a lifelong Aston Martin fanboy, and this is my first time in a Vanquish. I am not disappointed at all. They say you shouldn't meet your heroes, but this has been a hero that I've been pleased to have met. And yeah, I have no complaints. It is just fantastic, fantastic. So with all that, we will enjoy the rest of our drive back to the shop. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you've all enjoyed our informational video here. And yeah, we post cars all the time on a multi-time weekly basis, so be sure to follow and subscribe for more. And if you're interested, feel free to reach out. Our email is in the bio along with our website. Thanks so much.